Hi, my name is Ed, and I'm the Creative Director with True North Metrics, a company offering a suite of products that can help you better communicate with your customers and your staff. With True North Metrics software, you will be able to better communicate with your customers and access their insights. And you'll be able to better communicate with your staff. This increase in customer understanding will lead to better service and in turn increased bookings. And True North Metrics software will allow you to have much more efficient communication within your company. Firstly, let's take a look at customer feedback. I know that you take communication with customers seriously, and Twitter is a good way to do this. However, we believe that SMS has far greater potential when talking about customer engagement. SMS is the best way to connect and communicate with your customers, and it is highly cost-effective and flexible. In this video, I hope to show you just a handful of the potential uses of SMS for customer feedback. With True North Metrics software, you will be able to measure quality ratings over time across a number of metrics. Therefore, tracking your improvement will be a much easier task. SMS feedback also provides a very easy to use and accessible feedback channel for your customers. It's a great way for customers to get their views across to you, the management. You can encourage your passengers to submit feedback by putting posters like the ones on screen here in your trains. Now customers know exactly who they are to give feedback to and how. You could also have feedback invitations in train stations. For example, if you wanted to compare how people perceive the quality of various stations, you could have station-specific feedback and ratings. You could also use these feedback posters to gather suggestions from customers on how you could improve the train stations. SMS is also a great medium through which to communicate with staff. With True North Metrics software, you can choose to send messages to a single individual, a small group, or indeed a much larger group. Let's take a look at two examples. You could send a company-wide message, such as the one on screen. This sort of message is perfect for making big company announcements or reminding people about important events coming up soon. Also, you could send a much more targeted message. For example, the message on screen is a specific instruction to maintenance personnel. So let's take a look at how True North Metrics software would be useful in a real-world situation. This is Joe and his experience with Irish Rail. Every Wednesday, Joe takes the 3 o'clock train from Dublin to Tralee, and for the most part he has a very good experience with Irish Rail. However, one day he has a very bad experience. Joe's chair is quite broken and very uncomfortable. Unfortunately, the train is full and there's nowhere where he can move to. Joe is very unhappy with this, but unfortunately Joe doesn't know who he should complain to and how, so he keeps his complaint to himself, and from now on he flies down on a Ryanair flight every Wednesday. But could Joe's experience have been different? Had the train had feedback invitations in the form of posters on it, Joe would have known exactly how to complain. He could have sent his complaint to the True North Metrics database. This feedback would be instantly viewable on your online dashboard, and you could send Joe a text of apology. You could also send a text to the relevant staff member, asking them to fix Joe's problem so that it doesn't affect any more customers. Joe appreciated your text of apology, and he's back travelling with Irish Rail. Using True North Metrics software, you have just saved yourself a customer. So, in summary, with True North Metrics software, you can expect to increase your levels of customer feedback, and secondly, you will be able to communicate with your staff in a much more flexible and relevant manner. We would love to meet up with you and talk to you about what you'd like to get out of an SMS solution. Simply email us with a time and a place that suits you, and we can meet up and talk about how you can start better understanding your customer base and communicating with your staff.